All right, so SBI just released another update to their NDA patch coming really soon. And we're going to look at it. We're going to see how the meta is going to change after this update. All right, first and foremost, we got the Frost Staffs. On the Frost Beam, it is going to receive a slight buff. Frost Beam obviously is one of the most underutilized W abilities of the Frost Staff. So they are going to get a little bit of love to try to get them back into the meta. The only time we've actually used the Frost Staff, Frost Beam, was back last year actually, with the combination of the Mercenary Jacket along with the Frost Beam. All right, for the Quarterstaffs, the separator on all Quarterstaffs, the knockback distance is at 12, which is a fixed distance, and decrease in root time ever so slightly from 2.5 to 2.2, but they are going to increase the damage quite significantly, almost 2 times the previous one. So this is going to be an interesting way to use the Quarterstaff with the separator. Increased damage, but slightly decreased CC duration. All right, the newest addition to this is the Shapeshifters. The Shapeshifter, all Shapeshifter Staffs, all shape forms, energy regeneration factor from 6 to 4.5. Wow. This is actually huge because you don't really use a Limherscape when you are using the Shapeshifter Staffs, just because when you are in your furry form, your energy regeneration is just so high that it doesn't really matter. While you're using your W ability and your Q ability on your furry form, or even your normal attacks, you are regenerating so much energy that when you transform back to your human form, you're ready to use your QWQ, and you don't need energy potions, you don't need Limherscapes. Now, I feel like Limherscapes are going to be needed. Maybe Dust Soul Crab Omelets will be needed here as well, just because of that factor. That is a huge drop. Actually, a huge drop for all Shapeshifter items. The Sinister Swipes, though, for the Prowling Staff. Base damage reduced from 120 to 90. Important to note, the true damage parts of the third hit stay unchanged. So this is the Q ability of the Prowling Staff. This is the QQQ. You can basically use it 3 times, and on the third damage, it deals true damage, but it will still stay the same, but a little bit of a nerf. A little bit of a nerf on the base damage. It's actually quite a lot. That's a 25% decrease in damage. So we are seeing, as we have predicted, the weapon lines, the new weapon lines in the Shapeshifter items are going to be nerfed, and they are starting to nerf these items. The Prowling Staff is going to be nerfed both for the Q ability and the W ability, with the Pounce on the Prowling Staff as well receiving a big nerf. 50% more cooldown now for the Prowling Staff's Pounce. That's the W ability. The Prowling Staff obviously has been really good for Mist specifically, because you can just be Invis, go and Pounce, 3 Sinister Swipes, and you're going to get your enemy's health so low, even with like higher tier difference, that they are receiving a significant, very significant nerf here 2 weeks into the new updates. We talked about this last time as well, but just for the video, the judgment on the Light Collar Staff, this is the Eagle. The cast is now interruptible. Right now, in the current patch of Albion Online, the cast of the Light Collar Staff is uninterruptible and unreflectable. So it's still unreflectable at this point, but can now be interrupted with, let's say, Howl interrupt on the sword or whatever that has like interrupts, knock-ups, all things like that. The hit delay is going to be increased from 1 second to 1.2, making it easier to dodge with, say, Blink, maybe even a well-timed sprint, dodge roll ability, of course, and things like that. And they are also going to reduce the damage of the Light Quarterstaff's Judgment. There you go. And also they added the spell indicator area for the hit delay as well. So again, we are seeing the overpowered staffs being reduced, being nerfed. And surprisingly, the bear staff is not in here. The bear staff, I think, is the most used weapon right now for all of the shapeshifter weapons. And they're not here. They are not here. The Avalonian Beam on the Cowl of Purity as well is going to receive a nerf. Rightfully so. This has been used for just kiting in corrupted dungeons. Just kite forever. They are receiving a nerf, a 4-meter range nerf for the Cowl of Purity. The Howl as well for the Mercenary Hood. This is actually going to receive a buff. This is actually very interesting and very exciting. Instead of the attack speed reduction, now reduces enemy damage by 30% for 4 seconds. Reduces enemy damage by 30% for 4 seconds. That is huge. That is absolutely huge, especially in 2v2s. It still interrupts, all right? Still interrupts, it still slows. And now it is going to reduce your enemy damage by 30%. If you time this perfectly, you can interrupt, slow, and basically nerf their big damage, big combo. And this is actually a huge buff for the Mercenary Hood. And I think you are going to see the Mercenary Hood as a mainstay in 2v2 Hellgates and potentially in Corrupted Dungeons as well. You can also see this potentially being used in small scale because that Mercenary Hood Howl is AoE. So you can reduce enemy damage by 30% in like in an AoE cone. That is huge. And also they are tripling the damage. They are absolutely buffing the Mercenary Hood right now. Tripling the damage of the Mercenary Hood now is a good enough damage. I would say deals quite a bit of damage now. But the slow duration is going to be reduced to 4 seconds to match the enemy damage reduction for 30%. For the armor set, the Purging Shield on the Mage Robe once again getting reduced cooldown. This is, I think, the 3rd time in a row that the Mage Robe is getting a cooldown buff right here with 40 seconds to 35 seconds and increases the resistance as well from 0.28 to 0.3. Not big in the resistance department. Not huge difference there. But the 5 seconds before food definitely is a big deal. I feel like this is going to affect a lot of 2 scomps. But yeah, the Howl is just insane. The Phase Scale Sandals, the Ethereal Form, cooldown from 30 seconds to 45 seconds. And transformation delay from 1 second to 1.5 seconds, basically destroying the Phase Scale Sandals. This is the one that makes you, well, an ethereal, transforms you into an ethereal form, and basically makes you untargetable, undamageable, unCCable, everything. It has a transformation delay of 1 second, but now they're going to increase it to 1.5, and the cooldown is going to be 45. Basically, nerfing it to death. All right, the Rage Blink on the Stalker Shoes. This ability can now be recast within 4 seconds. So it's now double blink. The Raging Blink. The range is cut down to 7 meters from 10 meters. But since now you can double blink, it is actually a little bit of a buff to 14 meters in total. And the damage and healing cast increase per blink is now from 15 to 8, but can stack to twice. So that means it was increased by 1%. And the heal cast duration as well. So that is actually a pretty good change up in the Rage Blink. You can now blink twice, which is pretty cool. Longer range, longer heal cast and damage duration, and increased damage and heal cast as well, which is pretty good. Now, this is already live. The Shapeshifter, the reality feature this is definitely a little bit of OP. That's definitely OP. Like the 18-meter range is insane, but this is already up. So what do you guys think of the new patch coming soon to Albion Online? This was expected but I did not expect it to be coming as soon as like 2 weeks into the update. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. And we'll see how all of this affects the changes. Or let's see how this affects the meta in Albion Online.